Hello, my gorgeous. Welcome to Faith and Femininity podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Wong, and just like you, I wear many hats in my life. I'm a mom, a wife, a coach, a teacher, a daughter, a sister, and most of all, I'm a woman and I am a child of God. As a faith and femininity coach, I empower Christian moms and women to live a joyful and fulfilled life. Follow my podcast as I share more about self-care, soul care, self-love, soulful parenting, family connection, and most importantly, tapping into the femininity and masculinity that God has created in us and the men around us, and live a life with faith and reflecting God's power, glory, and love. Let's dive into today's podcast episode. Have you ever felt like you are suddenly lost? You are unsure of what to do? You feel overwhelmed with so many things that's happening in your life. You feel like there are some things that are going wrong in your life, but you're unsure what is wrong. And yeah, I was there. And in fact, I am currently in that phase of life where I need to use what I am teaching and what I have learned in my life again. And putting all this teaching and what I've learned into practice. I am in that phase whereby my family members are constantly getting sick. There seem to be so many things to do. My to-do list is never ending and it has been adding, the tasks have been adding on every day. I have not been able to achieve what I want to do every day. Maybe some days I will be able to take off one or two, and some days it's a total nothing. And I felt like I have so many things to do and so little time, and the things just felt never ending. And I also don't understand what my children want. I've got a 2-year-old who's throwing tantrums, and I've got a 6-year-old who is so sensitive, and there are more, and these are just some of it. And being able to having been like in this coaching line and having been coached, I'm now aware that these are the first steps to tell me to actually take a step back and breathe and look at all of it, and see what I can actually get out of it and learn out of it. So as soon as I was able to get myself back to being grounded and being calm, I was able to approach all of this in so much more calmness, so much more thankfulness, so much more joy. I'm able to see so much more like joy in all these things, and I'm thankful to be able to hold on through it, with the strength of God that He has given to me, and through the help and support of the people God put in my life. So yes, and especially I just want to always and still want to give a big shout out to my husband, who is always the one who has been supporting me through. And of course there are so many other people in my life that God put in my life, and I want to be thankful for them too. But most of all, of course, I think like my husband has been the greatest support, and I'm just really thankful for him. And with all that said, I know that I also need to look inwardly, instead of just what is happening on the outside. I need to look inwardly and actually take inventory of my heart space, and take inventory and also kind of analyze and reflect on my relationship with God and myself. I have learned that whatever happened in our life reflects what we put in our soul. Our external world reflects our internal world, and this internal world is our heart and soul. So when our hearts and souls are not nourished, if they are not nourished well, they will be reflected in our life. The things in our life would be chaotic, and that's time for you to actually look inside, take a break, pause, look into your heart and see where you are. How is your relationship with God, and how is your relationship with yourself? Now, what does it mean to have a nourished heart and soul? What does it mean to have a soul that's not nourished, a heart that's not nourished? And how do our hearts and soul affect the external world? So, for example, I'm going to give you an example is that how you know that you nourish yourself well is actually through the way you see things and through the way you actually approach them as well. So when something happened, okay, I want you to first ask yourself, how are you feeling with the things that's happening around you? What feeling are you experiencing? Because if you look into the belief system and how our brain works, this is not from me, and I actually didn't, oh wait, I did read it from somewhere. I think it's the millionaire mindset book, and I also learned this from my coaches and from my fellow friends who is on this journey with me. That is, our feelings will affect our thoughts, and our thoughts will affect our actions. So and these feelings are also reflecting our beliefs. So belief will your belief system, your belief, what you believe about yourself, what beliefs you have brought from your past will affect your feeling, and your feeling will affect your thought, and then it will affect your actions. So for example, I've been overwhelmed, okay, and that's my feeling. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Now, what does this overwhelming feeling cause me to think of myself? This so if for example this overwhelming feeling caused me to think that I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough to handle all this by myself, and and no one will help me, then the action that I will actually want to take is to prove that I'm enough, to tell everybody that, hey, I'm not a failure, I can succeed in this, and I can do it by myself even though nobody helped me. And what will happen is that I will overwork, right? And when I overwork, it will lead to being more overwhelmed, and when I'm more overwhelmed, it will lead to more unworthiness, and this unworthiness will just lead to more of me being overwhelmed, me being stressed, me believing that I'm not good enough, and I'm not able to handle all this, and I'm a failure. But if we can tweak anything in between, if you can tweak your feelings or your thoughts or even your belief system, if you can tweak anything at all or change anything at all, the result will be different. So for example, again, being overwhelmed, okay, if this feeling of being overwhelmed has caused me to think that I am enough, and I can look for support, which is my strength, because if I can actually go out and look for support, I'm not afraid of asking people for help, and that's my strength. And my action will be that I will actually go and look for help, and instead of doing it by myself, I will go and look for help, and I will be able to get more done in shorter amount of time, and with lesser energy, because I have the support, and I don't need to overwork, and that will eventually lead me to have a more efficient sense, like I will have like efficiency, okay, it leads to efficiency and a sense of achievement for myself, and it doesn't bring my worthiness down. In fact, it will make me feel so much better, or raises my worthiness so much more. But being said that our worthiness should not depend on what we can do and what we can't do, or whether people help us or not, but it really comes from your relationship with God and with yourself. So what do I do when I feel overwhelmed? So like the old me, when I feel overwhelmed, I take it upon myself very hardly. I kind of shut people out. If they want to help me, I would think that they are not like at my level, or they are not going to do what I expect them to do. So I will shut them out, and I will actually overwork, and I'll do so much more. I'll overwork, and I'll get even more tired and even more overwhelmed, even more stressed. But now there are a lot of things that I've put in place to help myself manage this, and even better is that I find so much joy, and it doesn't affect the relationship around. Yes, things are happening, but as soon as I'm aware of them, I was able to go into them and change things up, and lifted up the mood and energy so much more. And the feeling of like being overwhelmed or sad or upset, it was not being dragged for so long, or being buried even and not addressed. So right now, what do I do when I'm overwhelmed? There are a few things in these days, and actually the first thing, honestly for me, and especially now, what I did was to declutter. And the timing kind of tied in quite nicely, because during this season when there are so many things that are happening, my auntie and uncle who is moving back to US is also thinking of releasing their furniture, and their furniture are in such good condition, and we do need some storage area as well, so we are thinking to bring in their furnitures. So it ties in very nicely, because we will be having new furniture soon, and that's why it's like a perfect season for me to decluttering whatever in my house that we do not need, making space for new things to come in. Not only that, when we make space physically in our house or in around us, we actually make space in our heart, in our soul. We make space emotionally and mentally and spiritually as well, to allow new things to come in. So when I declutter and make space in my home, I'm making space in my life too. So according to Peter Walsh, clutter isn't just the stuff on the floor. It's anything that gets between you and the life you want to live. So if you are a goal in life that you want to achieve, and all of us have, believe it or not, we all have something that we want to achieve. We all have a dream. We so often, sometimes, like, people come to me, or moms come to me, they tell me they don't know what to do. They don't have a dream. They are lost. But really, this dream or this desire is deep down in your heart, and all you really need to do is to connect with God. Ask God, what is He desire for you to do? What does He desire for you to do? And check in with yourself too. What is your relationship with yourself, that you are not worthy enough to that when God call you, you don't respond to it, or when God tell you that this is what He wants you to do, you ignore it, or you actually didn't hear it. Very often it's we choose not to hear it, or we choose to not believe it, that is for us. But it's still there in your heart, and I'm sure if it's meant for you, God will come and tell you again, and He will if it's meant for you, He will come tell you, and He will lead you through it. So whatever life that you want to live, And of course, according to God's will, whatever it is, you will not be able to live it if there's clutter between you and that life. And what's that clutter? We will talk more about this clutter maybe in the next episode or something, but for now let's talk about physical decluttering. That means like objects around you. It can be your kitchen cabinet, it can be your wardrobe, it can be the children's toys, your children's clothes. I'm so guilty of those because I think my children have more things than me, because I think I hoard things for my children more than I hoard things for myself. Yeah, but anyway, physical decluttering, and decluttering is what I usually have my clients to do first when they first come into sessions with me, because if we don't declutter or put away things that does not serve us anymore, we will not be able to make space for what's new and what will benefit us. So by removing all this clutter, we can reduce the stress that stems from all this mess, which will also help us to feel happier, less anxious, less stressful, and help us to be more confident in ourselves as well. And not only that, decluttering definitely can boost your mood. Like after you declutter, you'll feel so much happier. You look at the space around you, the tidiness around you, you just felt so much more lifted up. And it will also help to improve your physical health, sharpen your focus. You know exactly where everything are, and the mess just doesn't cloud you anymore. You're so much more focused because it's just neat and tidy, and you know exactly where everything are. It increases your energy and productivity as well. And again, I'm gonna say it relieves anxiety and stress, and it brings so much more happiness to you, so much more joy in your life and the people around you. And so think about how you feel when you walk into a space with mess and a space that is neat and tidy. Which one would you feel more comfortable in? Which one would you feel like more lifted up? Definitely the space that's organized and neat and tidy than the space that is filled with mess. I used to have a very messy room, and my mom used to nag me a lot. I didn't really understand why until when I really had my own room. Before that, I was still sharing room, and it's just hard to kind of maintain it. But when I finally have my own room, I try to organize as much, and I find myself always going to declutter again and again. Of course, it's not like if I want to compare, it's way below average. But if I compare only with myself from like the year before or from like a few years before, my organizing skills have definitely gotten much better. And right now I understand so much more about how a clutter-free environment will affect our mood and our energy, and how it can actually benefit us. So I really stand firm on having like clutter-free space. Some spaces does still look like a lot of clutter to other people, but to me, like I have my own limit or boundary or like expectation to how a space should look like. And I have flexibility as well. Definitely, with children around, we sometimes can't have like a really perfect clutter-free space, but we have space for the children where we tell them that this space is free for you, and we allow mess. We allow mess in that space, and of course, after that, when we clean up, we engage our children to clean up. My 1-year-old or he's not 1 year old anymore, he is turning to 16 months. He's also learning to put things away, and I think it's like a game for him. He likes to just repeat the action, putting toys into the box. Of course, he likes to pour them out again, but he likes to put them back in again. So yeah, we are just encouraging that, and we are encouraging and my daughter is kind of able to clean up, but she will love like company, so we clean up together with her. So we make it fun, we make it like a family activity to clean up, and when it's time to get messy, we just let them get messy. Yeah, so decluttering, I'm all on for decluttering, and if I do see clutters which is not up to my level, I will go and organize it. And if I'm talking to you, or if this is talking to you, if you have a space that is filled with clutter, you have a table that's filled with mess, when you want to do something, you just have to shift things around, okay? Or it's just not easy for you to take things, or places are just very messy, please take time to declutter. It will help you, it will help your life, it will help your energy level, your mood, and it will lift yourself up. You feel more confident, and people around you will also feel happier around you. You will also be able to handle tasks around you more efficiently, and yeah, you will just boost your self-esteem so much more, and your relationship with others will also improve. Okay, and so other than decluttering, I'm also in the season of decorating my house, like adding some feminine touch to my house. So my husband and I bought this house slightly more than a year ago, and that time all we wanted is to keep it simple. We bought most of our furniture in a darker tone, which is very masculine, but I'm very thankful for the darker colors, as they really did look sleek still, and it's not dirty, because white gets dirty very fast. But these blacks are really good, because like even when there are some pencil marks or colors here and there, it's not as obvious as it's on white. And I'm just thankful, because like my children also doesn't draw on furnitures, or yeah, or tables or chairs. They really do just follow whatever that we have kind of like set for them on papers, or if on the floor, a big piece of paper, or a big piece of paper on the wall, and things like that. So very thankful that they are like, they help to tidy as well. But I think it's also they are following our example, right? My husband and I, we try to keep our house as tidy as we can. Yeah, and so over time, although we really love these dark furnitures, but over time I do feel that we do need a bit of refreshment, although it's only after 1 year, because I do feel like I want to add some brighter tones. I want to add some lighter colors, some art, some fun. We have our children's artworks in the in the washroom actually. So sometimes if they do sit there for their number 1 or number 2, they will look around, and I don't know about you, but I used to read the back of the description of my shampoo bottle or my soap bottles when I'm doing my business in the washroom. But for my children, they will just look at their artwork, which is pretty amazing, right? And yeah, and flowers. I really wanted some flowers in my house for some time. I added them last year for once or twice, but this year I feel like I want to have it even more frequently. But the thing is, we are also having new furniture coming in, so I'm waiting for these new furniture to come in and reorganize, and I'll have a look at where I can redecorate my house. So, but for the time being, I'm adding little bits and pieces, and it already brings so much more life to the house, and so much more, it lifted me so much more. Yeah, so if you are in this season of being like overwhelmed and stuff like that, try redecorating, try reorganizing, try decluttering. It will really help you. And the art that we put up, like I say, it does not have to be very fancy or expensive. I use my children's work, we frame them up, or we hang them in a strategic way, or in a strategic corner or area, and it will just feel so much nicer. And these feelings are only you will know. So no one can walk into your house and tell you where you should hang the art, or what you should put in that area, or what looks like clutter and what looks not like a clutter. I mean, suggestions are always welcome, and professionals can definitely be able to help you, but ultimately, what do you feel when you put the item there? What does your heart say when you put that piece to the corner or that frame to the wall? Listen to your heart, because that is where your voice is, that's where your desire is, that's where God will talk to you most. Yeah. And if you aren't able to listen to your heart, then you'll know that you definitely need to look at the relationship you have with yourself and the relationship with God. Okay, and that's me for now. Continue to watch this space and my podcast for more. So till next time, love and blessings always. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for spending your time here with me today. If you feel moved, prompted, or inspired in any way by today's episode, please share it on your story and tag me. Follow me on Instagram at rachelwsf.co to learn more about femininity and masculinity that God has created in our hearts, and celebrate God's love. Remember that God has your back, and you get to create a life that you love with faith and trust in God and yourself. Lots of love and cheers! Bye for now!